Hello, this is part 2 of the lower back pain self-help video. So moving on from our last one where we talked about the glutes and the QL muscle, we're going to talk about a couple of muscles that go over the front of the hip this time. I'm just going to show you on my skeleton here. So when you sit down for long periods of time and your legs are like this, muscles that go over the front area here tend to gradually go shorter and tighter because the leg's always in this position instead of being stretched out like this. So it's a good idea to move as often as you can and not stay in a seated position for too long. But if they do start getting tight, what happens is then when you do stand up, your whole torso tends to feel like it's going forward like this because these are pulling it forward. And then what happens is the ones around the back register your torso is leaning too far forward and they start firing away trying to pull it back upright and you end up with lower back pain. So there's a couple of muscles to look at here which you can do a lot yourself to help relax off. So the first one is called your psoas muscle. I'm just going to show you a picture of where this is. So it runs from right up here on your spine, just below your ribs. It runs down through the inside of the pelvis and it actually attaches on the top of the leg on the inside here. And it's quite a deep postural muscle, and when it goes tight, that's one of the ones that pins you forward. It also has referred pain. So when it's tight, you often feel pain over the top of the thigh here and also around the back, just in this area, just in that low back area in the middle of the torso. The other muscle we're going to look at is, well, it's a set of 4 muscles. It's the quadriceps, which is your top thigh. But in particular, we're going to look at, there it is, the middle one here. Because this one starts off up on the pelvis and it goes down to below the knee, and it often refers pain down into the kneecap itself. So it feels like you've got knee pain right in the middle of your knee. So when you're self-treating either of these muscles and pushing down on them, if you get pain in any of those areas, you know it's stemming from that muscle, from where you're pushing it in. So it's nothing to worry about, it's just what that muscle does, and if you push down on it for long enough, the pain will gradually subside. And so now what I'm going to do is show you a couple of ways of treating that and also some stretches. Okay, so to treat the front of the thigh when it's gone tight, what you need to have is, ideally, if you've got one of these, a foam roller, that's nice and easy. Failing that, you can do exactly the same with a tin of something. So what you're going to do is you're going to effectively lie on top of this on the floor, and you're going to have it placed over the front bit of your thigh, ideally at the top, but you can extend it further down if it feels a little bit sore. So I'll show you what I mean. So you put that down on the floor first, and then you're just going to lower your thigh onto the top of it, and you can roll on it, but when you find an area that feels a little bit sore, just pause and wait for 10 to 12 seconds, which is when you will be releasing a trigger point. At the same time, you might feel some referred pain, which could go down to your knee, which will then go off after that time. And you can just move along, find some more areas, and keep going until it all feels quite comfortable and there's no more pain. Just to demonstrate, you can do the same thing on a tin. just a little bit lower down, that's all. And you can find the same sore areas and just wait and hold until nothing hurts anymore. So to stretch the quad muscle at the front, what you need to do is to lift one foot up off the floor and hold it behind you with your hand holding your ankle. At the same time, you need to make sure you're properly upright and your tailbone is nicely tucked in. If you let it curve outwards like that, you're not getting quite so much of a stretch. But you should feel a nice pull all down the front here, and just hold the stretch for a good minute before you let go again. So these next couple of stretches are for your psoas muscle, the big postural one that runs down the front of your hip. And the way you can do this, there's two different ways. Firstly, you need to be lying on your back. You can be in bed, and if you lift both of your knees up like this, and then just drop one off the side of the bed, and at the same time bring your other knee up towards your chest and just hold it with your hands. And keep it there for a good minute or so, and you should feel a nice stretch over this part of your thigh. And Louis, if you can just let that one go back down again. Now the other thing you can do is if you can roll up onto one of your sides, and you're going to take your top leg with your top arm and hold your ankle and just pull it up behind you. And again, you should feel a nice stretch down that front of the thigh area, going up over the hip, and just hold it for a good minute, and that's stretching out your psoas muscle as well.